As a child, I grew up between two worlds. Between Mahalla and Cairo, my life was formed. Between two homes and the road connecting the past to the present. I was living in the memories of my memories and not living my present, but rather I was escaping to a past that was never mine. I lost my grandfather in 2009, 2 months after my graduation. And in 2011, on the night of the revolution, I lost my grandmother. Both of them from my dad's side. I returned back in the summer, and I was studying abroad then, to find out that my grandmother was gone. In 2015, I came back to Cairo for good, to realize that nothing was never the same. Nor my family, nor my country. My grandparents were the pillars that held our family together. They were my roots. They were the ones who planted the seeds of family tree from which I branched from. Losing my pillars felt like losing myself, my history, and my identity. And since then, I've been trying to process that loss, the void, the eternal gap inside of me, trying to understand who I am as a person without them. The camera was my friend along that search. It introduced me to the streets, the people, and the places. I had the urge to understand myself in the midst of everything around me, and to reconnect to all the places that I knew and the places that I didn't know. I also felt the importance of the camera and the photo in documenting and preserving history. Photography for me was a tool that immortalizes and pauses life. Once the shutter is clicked and light is captured, you're presented with a moment in time, and an object of memory that is not just embraced in your memory, but also embraced in your hands forever. And so through my different artistic journeys, I was able to dig deeper and raise more questions. One project led to the other until I reached my current work, White Gold. And so in White Gold, I was trying to define what does it mean to be an Egyptian today? And how can I identify this? Using my story and this cotton story. The first seeds of my identity were planted in Mahalla Kubra, home to me in the Egyptian cotton. This was also where my father's family's roots extended. Mahalla was always known to be the center for harvesting and weaving cotton. And so like the white cotton flower in the harvesting season, detached from the soil, extracted from its grounds, I saw myself reflected in the cotton's journey, a journey that embodies my history and personal identity. I went back to my farm, to my family's farm, to my land, to the soil and the roots. I wanted to connect with my people, the farmers and the community. I wanted to understand the cycle of the cotton. How long does it take for the cotton to grow? Cotton takes 9 months to grow, from the first stage of planting the seed until it blossoms into a flower and then it becomes harvested. So for those of you who don't know where Mahalla is, it's along the Nile Delta region. And it's in the Ghorbiya, Muhafazat al-Ghorbiya. So I met Warda, and I met many other farmers who taught me how cotton is a plant that's shaped by its surrounding. And it's also shaped by the hands that takes care of it, like us as humans. We're pretty much shaped by our atmosphere and the things we consume every day. And so around cotton, everything felt like soft, fluffy clouds. Yet, it is one of the most labor-intensive crops, demanding land, water, resources, and so much human labor. Farmers actually have to work under the scorching sun to handpick each cotton ball separately. In many cases, working from sunrise to sunset, with no breaks or a few breaks in between. So, I met Haj Ali as well, and he also told me how back in the days, cotton was a season that was quite celebrated, and it came with its own blessings. When anyone wanted to wed their children, they used to wait for the cotton harvest season. If you wanted to build your house, it was after you sold your cotton. Everything was tied to cotton. It was the white gold. Why was cotton named the white gold, or referred to as white gold? So in the 19th century, cotton was considered to be a cash crop, meaning that it was very profitable and brought so much economic significance to any country that planted it. It also played a crucial role in the American South, giving it its name. And so, when you think about it, we don't really think about the importance of such a crop, but when you look around you, you'll realize that cotton is really included in a lot of things. It's our clothes, our bed sheets, our towels, our tissues. It's even in our medical supplies. And so, up until the 19th century, Egypt was not known for cotton. It was known for linen and flaxseed. Cotton came with Muhammad Ali in 1820, and it was a breakthrough. In 1861, the American Civil War erupted, creating a cotton shortage supplies globally, and the British turned to Egypt for their cotton supplies, and in 1882, they occupied the country, transforming it to their own cotton farmland. And so they only saw Egypt as an agricultural state. They never supported its industrialization. They only were trying to find ways to ship their cotton from Egypt to their textile mills in Manchester and Lancashire. And that was through building ginning factories for the purpose of preparing their cotton. So the ginning process is the second process that happens after the harvest season. Once the cotton is pulled and it's compressed into bales in the field, it then transfers to ginning factory. And this process is the separation of the fiber from its seed. And it happens through machines. So the British built ginning factories all across Egypt. In fact, when I visited many of them, it was very interesting for me to know that most of these machines are still up and running until today. Many of them are even over 100 years old. So this is actually the last stage before it gets prepared, and then it gets compressed into bales, and it either travels or it goes to spinning and manufacturing companies. And so Egyptians weren't happy about what was happening to their land, and they wanted to claim their land and identity in the face of colonialism. And so in 1927, Talat Harb built the first and largest industrial facility in the region on the lands of Mahalla Kobro, my hometown. The Misr spinning and weaving factory. And it was quite revolutionary and a pride to all Egyptians. And in 1952, cotton was nationalized, and Nasser came out supporting the industrialization and uplifted the textile industry. He backed the Egyptian farmer, and we see here the stamp, a really old stamp from 1958. Pretty much during that time, Egypt's identity became shaped around the cotton. As we see here, the beautiful female farmer holding a flower, cotton flower. And so he started to use cotton as a lucrative weapon, exporting it. So this is considered to be the last stage of the cotton and the spinning factory. After then it goes to fabric factories and manufacturing. So my family's history is quite intertwined in the cotton's history of Mahalla. My great-grandfather was a lead merchant in the manufacturing textile trade movement. And my grandfather, after 1969, built our textile factory. Later, my father joined him in the 80s, continuing to weave our family threads. So the story of cotton really doesn't end here. It actually starts. It starts with every single one of us. Because I really see cotton as a human plant. It's shaped by its surrounding. And so as we experience different growth phases, some of us will be planting their seeds while others will be harvesting, while others will be learning to let go to weave their own threads of identity. Thank you very much.